Welcome to Vegas Live with Ninon. I'm Ninon, your host today, and of course you know exactly where we are because the story tells itself with all the lights on and everything down here. We're at the Peppermill. They have been sponsoring us for the last 5 years, so it's absolutely amazing. But I have two great guests at the moment. I guess I would like to call them icons myself because they're absolutely amazing. I have Grant, who has the museum, and I mean you are just amazing at what you do actually in Vegas. And then I have Fred Doumani. Fred Doumani actually, I think it's your nephew or your son actually own the Peppermill.
Yeah, my nephew.
His nephew actually owns the Peppermill, so I better just be on best behavior, otherwise I could be out. But I don't think so. Also, Fred was the owner of the Tropicana, and he was also the producer of the Folies Bergere. Correct? Am I getting all my facts right?
Well, I did own the Tropicana, but Alan Lee produced the Folies Bergere.
But you were the executive producer. You put up the money.
He put all the money up. Well, I think you put the money up for everything, don't you? They come to Fred. Fred, we want to do this and this and this. So, Grant, how are you doing? You were on my show a couple of years ago.
Yes.
And you've got this incredible museum. Grant has this museum of all the old clothes of Anne Margaret Folies Bergere and all these incredible gowns. And your museum is amazing. And this is actually what we've kind of been talking about today, is how we can get this out there, because both of you they've both been so great with helping Las Vegas over the years. I mean, you've helped Las Vegas in so many ways. So what is this plan, or what is this you want to try to do?
Well, the museum itself, of course, has been in existence since 2006, and luckily for us, Fred has been one of our biggest supporters as far as believing in the project and being there every step along the way. Currently, we are working on getting a building. It's a little catch-22 kind of situation because in order to get people to actually donate towards the museum and getting it built and the doors actually opening, you need to have a lease. You have to have an actual venue.
You have to have a venue, you have to have a place. I would have thought that actually right now it would have been a great time to lease because of the pandemic and everything we're going through. A lot of people have moved out of buildings, can't pay the rent, and you're coming along. You want to rent a building. I think that's pretty cool, don't you, Fred?
Yes, of course. The really nice places are pretty well full, and it's like, who'd believe it? But there's a big housing shortage now in Las Vegas.
I know. How can you? Yes, in Vegas, but isn't that because the housing are less expensive here than they are in most parts of the country?
A lot of people are moving in from California.
Well, that's because it's too expensive there, and there's no houses left, I don't think.
Well, not only that, with government regulations and with really high property taxes, California is, it's beautiful, but
I lived there.
It's getting hard.
Yeah, I lived there. I lived in Bel Air there, and it was beautiful. Yeah. But at the same time, that was a few years ago. And now it's sort of, it's still beautiful there, but the traveling and the freeways and the cost of living there is they're just sort of, people just leaving. They just can't do that. So what do you think of Vegas right now? You've been here quite a long time. And, when you first came here and what it is now, what is the difference you see, Fred?
Night and day. I mean,
really?
Las Vegas was small. The hotels were really individually run and on a personal basis. I liked it much better then.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
I think we all did,
the entertainment was much better. You had great shows, Folies Bergere, the Lido, and then you'd have Sinatra, Dean Martin. Those days are gone.
The Rat Pack.
Yeah.
Now, those days are gone. It's totally different, and now they've got these 2 walls and 3 walls, and you have to pay to actually sort of go there. And it's completely different.
Yeah, I mean, MGM started, first of all, a resort fee. What the hell is a resort fee? You pay for a room, and it's just, I don't want to go into detail, but you pay to check in early, you pay to get a late checkout, it's like the board of directors meet and wonder how they can charge more and give less.
And
I
then
hate
the
to say
parking
that.
came along. Then this
Then the
parking came
parking, yeah.
along. It's kind of defeated the purpose of what the gambling industry was, actually, because it used to be get people in, give them an inexpensive room, give them free dinners, free breakfast, free parking, and they gamble because they're going to spend their money one way or the other.
Yeah, those days are gone.
Yeah.
It's all run by accountants, and they get bigger and bigger. You know, it reached 1,000 rooms. Because when I first came here in the 50s, hotels were 300 rooms.
Well, wasn't the Tropicana the one you owned? That was quite a small hotel until you came along and made it, 600 rooms or something?
No, it was 500 rooms when we opened it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when we bought it.
Yeah.
And 500 rooms became, because we had 3 showrooms,
Yeah.
the lounge and 2 big showrooms, many restaurants, the
Amazing.
buffet.
Yeah.
So you needed more. So then we added 600 more rooms.
That's where I got that from.
Yeah.
Yeah, you added 600 more.
But now, so then we had 1,000 rooms. But now they built 3, 4, 5,000 rooms. They spend billions. It's become.
In your mind, do you think that they'll ever get all this money back on spending, especially now the epidemic and they've been closed for a few months? I mean, you know, I know they make a lot of money in gambling, but...
Well, you can't judge the corona thing because that'll go, you know.
Of course, yeah, that'll be
I think they already have a vaccine. And so say within a year, I don't think people are going to be scared to come on. The masks and... You can't make...
They're all going to come back because everybody wants to gamble, don't they?
Yeah. You can't have a restaurant running at 50%, showrooms
50%.
keeping distance.
Yeah, and yet you can walk in the streets and you're all walking together.
Yeah.
You know, none of it makes sense to me, but you know.
But I think a year from now,
It'll
people will be starved for entertainment, and they will catch up with all that they've missed. So I think in a year it'll boom.
It will, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so what are you doing now? You're now helping with this museum. So we now have probably a location and a lease.
Well, we don't have the lease yet,
Yeah,
but we
but
do
you're going-
have
but you have the
a
location.
building that we like.
And where is this building?
It's right by the airport, right
Oh,
by the
wonderful.
main post office. But you know, it's difficult because you need to negotiate with people, and you would think with COVID and so many places being emptied out,
Well, especially in the commercial side of life.
that they would be jumping at wanting to work with you. But I don't think, from what we've noticed, I don't think that they really have that understanding that they should be, you know, working with people to have them take
have
over a
something
place.
rented and take it. But
And they're
you-
thinking of it as a short-term lease where we're willing to go longer than what they want, and they're not aware of that yet, but that is
Well, they will be now.
one thing. But of course, we're still praying that the fries business goes out of business and we can get that
that's
building.
right, the fries building.
Well, it hasn't. They put it up for auction, and then I guess nobody showed up, or nobody will,
I should
bid
investigate
for it.
you because I'm in real estate as well.
Yeah,
so I find out what's
it's
going
kind
on.
of an odd
Because
situation.
it's very
complicated, of course. Yeah.
Yeah,
very complicated.
the land is owned by someone else, so even if you get the building, you know, you're...
And the lease is over, so you have to renegotiate. It's a complicated. That's why.
And you know a lot about all that. Of
Oh,
how
he's
government
such a
buildings.
genius.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know all of...
The thing amazes us is every time we sit down with him, this man reads every word in the newspaper. He knows everything that's going on in this town. It's just amazing. You know, not just what all he's achieved in his life, but the fact that,
He still
my
wants
God,
to- he still
85
wants to
years
know.
of age, and he
Yeah.
is on the ball. And I
Yeah.
mean, he really is so sharp and so intelligent. And
But that's what keeps him young.
Oh,
And, you know,
it's
if you keep
amazing.
if you keep your brain active, you know, if you keep going and keep moving, and then that's going to, you know, that keeps.
I
you
think the
moving as
COVID's
well.
been hardest on him because he's usually going from you know,
place to
morning
place.
until night, and you know, he's had to kind of cut back, and I think that's kind of
So
frustrating.
why do you want to get involved in this museum? Do you want to see all these beautiful costumes and all these gowns and things, and
Yeah,
you know,
that-
bringing
that's-
something to Vegas?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's an era that's gone, and those shows were beautiful. the
Yeah.
Casino de Paris, the Folies
Oh, I saw them all.
Bergere, the
Believe me, I
Lido.
saw them
they
all.
were
I've seen.
they were great.
Oh.
They had great men like Frederick Apcar, like Alan Lee, and people that really
Don Arden.
and Don Arden, tremendous.
Yeah.
Don Arden did our show too, and
So in all of this, Fred, you've been through a lot in Vegas. What's the thing that you really think you achieved in Vegas, and you really feel, well, I really did something for Vegas, and I did something from my heart?
well,
Probably many things.
the first thing we did, we built a beautiful motel on the Strip called the La Concha.
Oh, that's right, La Concha.
Yeah, which the lobby which means the shell,
Yes.
has been moved to the Neon Museum, where it's the entrance to the Neon
So
Museum.
the whole outside
that
lobby
that
went
that,
there.
that whole lobby was in front of the motel.
That's an honor. That's an honor. Isn't that
Yeah.
amazing?
Then we built the El Morocco, which was really a very beautiful motor hotel next to the La Concha. Then we built this, the Peppermill,
Then you,
and leased it to the corporation.
yeah.
But
I better behave myself. I got the owner sitting next to me.
and then we took over the Tropicana in 1974. We had it for about 5 years, where we added the high rise.
Yeah.
And
So you've achieved a lot, and are you happy with how it all is now, and what you've achieved, and you can sit back and say, well, I did my thing, I did my bit for Vegas.
well, Las Vegas, I can't describe what it was like in the 50s and 60s.
No, I
It
wasn't-
was people really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The resorts were small. They paid attention to the customers.
It was more of a sort of a select area, which that's what they built it on. I mean,
Yeah.
all the stars, Frank Sinatra and all these people. This is what they kind of built it on, as like a little place for them to perform and do their thing. Did you ever know Jack LaRue? Jack LaRue, opposite the Tropicana, where there's just a vacant piece of land, he owned that land. He was in the movie, but he was an actor, and he sold that land. Jack LaRue was a friend of ours, my husband, when he was
I remember
alive.
Jack LaRue, the actor. I
The
didn't
actor.
know that was him.
Yeah, Jack LaRue, the actor, owned the land opposite the Tropicana. And I always often wondered, because he gambled all the time and did all this, and I thought, where do he get his money from, this guy? Because he's not acting that much. And then I found out that he owned this land. He sold it for, I think, something like pennies on the dollar. He sold it for like $2 million, which is what it was worth later on. $2 million sounds a lot, but at that time it was a lot. But now it's like nothing. But yeah, that was Jack LaRue.
Yeah, well, I never thought the dollar would depreciate as much as it did in my lifetime.
So
$2 million was a lot of money back then.
yeah, it was a lot of money back
You'd
then.
need
2
30 or
million, wow.
40 million to be able to buy what 2 million would have bought back then.
So the difference is, so you've been through all this and done it all, and here you still are, and now your project right now is to get this museum working.
Well, we have two projects, though.
We
have two.
All right.
Another reason why we love and adore Fred, being he was executive producer of the Folies Bergere, is his dream, like our dream, is to bring the Showgirl back to the Las Vegas Strip. And some of the properties that we've negotiated with have offered us on the side the showroom, so that we could bring back what the shows were actually like. And as you know, in 1992, I had the second largest and the second to the last show at the Dunes.
Well, you've been a producer for a
Right.
lot of these shows. I mean,
Right.
we can't leave Grant out of all this, because Grant has really,
Well, but we need Fred, because
Fred, wow.
Fred wants the real shows to return to the Strip.
And you know the real shows.
Oh,
and
yes,
you know the
he
real shows. So
definitely
if
does.
I think that would be amazing. I think you'll be playing to a full house every night.
Yeah, and you couldn't see him too often. I remember guests would come. Sometimes I'd see the show twice in a month, but it was nice to
But
see
you like
every
to see it.
time.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course,
Yeah.
because they had so much. I mean, it was such an extravagant show. I mean, it was just. I mean, your eyes like how, and I know that those big feathers and everything they used to wear were very, very heavy.
Right.
So the girls had to have a big stamina, to march down with all this stuff, as well as sort of being elegant, like this is nothing.
Some weighed 50, 60 pounds,
Wow,
which when you're working for an hour and a half in a show
that's an awful lot.
is a lot.
So we're working on that. So we're working on the museum. We're working on the new show. So everybody out there, if we could get you to try to sort of interact with this, especially, and I'm really going to reach out to the older generation in Vegas because they know what this was like. They know how it was done, and I'm sure they all know you. I'm sure, and I know they know you because you're still doing that. You still have your museum open, right, at your house,
right,
and they can come there,
right. Yes, they can. It's,
how can they?
It's a non-profit, and it's by appointment only because it's in a home.
Okay.
That's the law.
Yes.
And they make a donation that allows them not only to see over 275 costume mannequins, but they also get a free Showgirl Tees t-shirt. And I brought you a present today.
You know, he must have got the message because I love presents. Oh, do I live
well,
for
we
presents.
always talk about showgirls, but we don't usually talk about your present, which happens to be a showboy.
Oh, look at this.
Sorry, Fred.
Sorry, you just got replaced by a showboy.
But when you were
That's
at the museum the other day,
Yes.
I didn't have them out. And so now I
These are
do.
fabulous.
So
I
you
love
can
it. I
can
love it.
finally have your own
I think
showboy to
that's
hang
amazing.
on the wall.
Now, Grant, how can anybody reach you to give you a donation and to help you with this museum you're putting together in the camera?
Well, they can go to www.lasvegasshowgirlmuseum.com, or they can go to facebook.com/Las Vegas Showgirl Museum, or they can go to Instagram and find us there under Las Vegas Showgirl Museum. And if they go to the website, they can make donations. Most of the donations come with a gift. We really need donations for the actual location that we're working on so that we can go and speak with them. We need basically a minimum of $40,000 to even get them to look our way.
40,000 isn't that much. I mean, you get 40 people, right? You just need 40 people. I mean, anybody can send 1,000 in, right? 40 people, 1,000 each. That's not very much. Or we could have 80 people. My math is going wild here. You have 80 people at 500.
Exactly.
Am I getting my figures right, Fred?
You're right.
Am I right?
No,
Well, the
They
nice
are.
thing is you know, we have over 40,000 artifacts,
they have
including
amazing.
sets and.
They have everything. You walk into this door and it's just full of there's a little passageway, but then you got the it's just absolutely amazing. I just want to thank Grant and Fred for coming on my show. It has been such an honor to get an icon, or two icons actually, on my show about Vegas, because Vegas Live with Ninon is all about Vegas. It's all about how we can help Vegas, what we can do for Vegas, and especially the entertainment industry, because hey, hello, that's what Vegas is all about, isn't it?
it sure is. Yes.
It really is. It's all about. Well, thank you, Fred, for coming on.
Well,
You're
thank
amazing.
you for asking me.
Thank you.
It's been a
and
great pleasure.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We'll have you back again. Get some more stories. I
Thank
love
you.
this. You can get some real stories because he really knows the stories. You really know what goes on in Vegas, and also, of course, Grant. Grant's my friend. He was on a couple of years ago, so he's always welcome on my show, and also help what we need to do for Vegas. We'll be right back. Vegas Live with Ninon. Take care.
Las Vegas, the City of Lights, has been the showcase of some of the world's finest entertainment spectacles, featuring some of the greatest artists ever to grace the stage. And when you think about Las Vegas and the amazing history of the most magical city in the world, you can't help but think about one of the most iconic figures in entertainment history, the Las Vegas Showgirl. Even from the humble beginnings of the Flamingo, visionary Bugsy Siegel knew the power and the lure of beautiful women dressed in eye-catching glitz and glamour. Since then, Las Vegas has always been the one place to see some of the most attractive men and women in the world wearing some of the most elegant costumes ever designed. We invite you to take a magnificent journey through time as you experience the spectacle of costumes, dresses, and jewelry that features millions of colorful feathers and billions of stunning Swarovski crystals. This historic collection, now valued at over $50 million, has been seen in over 70 countries around the world on Discovery Channel's Extreme Collections, and is considered the greatest single collection of elegant and original costumes in the world. It's all waiting for you at Grant Philipo's spectacular Las Vegas Showgirl Museum.
If you enjoyed the last show we just did and all the other shows, don't forget to subscribe Vegas Live with Ninon on YouTube. We've got plenty more coming up and our guests are amazing. So don't forget to subscribe. We'll be right back. Vegas Live with Ninon.